So Dave, tell us a little bit about these new Nexus phones you introduced today.
Yeah, so today's the first time we've launched two Nexus phones simultaneously, so we're pretty excited. We first have the Nexus 6P, which is a 5.7-inch all-metal premium device, and it's starting at $499. And then a return of the fan favorite, the Nexus 5X. So it's replacing the original Nexus 5, which is one of our most loved phones, starting at $379. Both phones have amazing cameras, especially for indoor photography. You know, we spend over, on average, 20 hours a day indoors, so we figured maybe make the camera good for indoor photography. We also got amazing displays on the devices, and also what we think is the fastest fingerprint sensor on the market today. So with this device, we place the fingerprint right at the back, which is the most natural place to put it, because where you hold the device, one touch and the phone will just wake up and unlock like that. So it's super fast.
So both these phones are unlocked. They're a little more expensive,
Right.
but you can use them on any network. I feel like the perpetual question around the Nexus, and I'll ask it again, is who are these phones for? Are these reference designs for other manufacturers, or is Google trying to go out and capture the high-end corner of the Android marketplace?
I think it's a little bit of everything, in fact, right? So if we start first back at the software, right? We create Android, and so our latest version, Android 6.0 Marshmallow, is rolling out next week. And so to create an actual mobile operating system or platform, you can't do it in the abstract. You actually need to build hardware. That hardware needs to be really good. You need to be carrying it around day in, day out, and really perfecting the software on it. So first and foremost, that's how Nexus was born. But then second, what we realized is we could also showcase the very best hardware, the very best software hardware integration, and sort of inspire others to do a good job. And then third, we realized, well, people really like these devices, right? And so we have, a really strong following of these devices. First of all, you have sort of tech enthusiasts and sort of first adopters. But then what we've noticed is that what happens is that those sort of first adopters then recommend their phone to their maybe less technical families and friends, and so you get the second and third order effect. And so, it's really a combination of all the above.
So you've worked closely with Huawei on the 6P and with LG
Yeah.
on the 5X,
Yeah.
and you're integrating hardware and software to create that fast and polished experience.
Right.
How do you spread it out? How do you recreate that effect to the rest of the now very kind of fractured Android world?
Well, so, when we build the software, as soon as we've got the phones ready and we launch it, we just open source the code. So we just make it available for anybody to take. Another area that we've improved in terms of hardware and software integration is the Android Sensor Hub. So we've created this separate discrete processor that allows you to run sensor processing in a low power efficient mode. And so we're just making that available to anybody who wants to take it and use it in their own devices. So it's really about, building the technology and then trying to spread it out on the ecosystem.
One of the interesting design decisions on these phones is the fingerprint sensor on the back.
Right.
Tell us why you did that,
Okay.
and what kind of accelerant that might be to
Right.
Android Pay and other identity services.
Well, two questions. Do you hold your phone like this, or do you hold your phone like this? So you hold your phone like this.
I worry, though, that I might inadvertently activate that.
So I've been using this for several weeks. It is life-changing. Like, I have never inadvertently activated it, and it's perfect. It is so fast. It's awesome. I think it's probably one of the strongest features is actually the whole fingerprint integration. So not only can I just unlock the phone, an obvious thing to do, I can also then go into a store and I can pay. So all I have to do is tap the back of the phone, wave the phone on the payment terminal, and I'm done. It's super efficient, super smooth. You can get your hipster swipe in. It's very cool. And then also we've integrated, because fingerprint support is in Android 6.0 Marshmallow, we've integrated in, and we've developed APIs. So now we have integrations in your banking application, all your commerce applications. Even in the Google Play Store, when you want to purchase something, you can use your fingerprint. So it just makes the device much more effective and seamless to use.
So Marshmallow, as you said, starts shipping next week. But how quickly can you get it to all those phones in the Android world?
Right.
It's always been a kind of a drawback to Android that you might have a phone. I could see Marshmallow on my Motorola phone in a year.
Right. So it's one of the things we've been working hard on is trying to accelerate how quick the software gets out on other devices. We have different programs that we're trying, and this year we actually made the source code available much more early. You mentioned Motorola, so they've had the code for quite some time, and so we're trying to seed it much more earlier in the cycle. You might have noticed we also made a developer preview of M, as we called it before we unveiled the name Marshmallow. We made that available, right back in May at Google I/O, and we've been updating it over the summer, so it allows hardware manufacturers to get M early, try it out, bring it up on their devices. It allows app developers to get to it more quickly. So we're trying to grease the wheel of the ecosystem to get those new dessert releases out more quickly.
So you talked about Sensor Hub. It does seem today in lots of the things that you debuted that Google's trying to make computer science and machine learning, turning it into a competitive advantage and a benefit for users. One of the nice features you showed is how apps can become aware to when you use them and present themselves at that particular time of day. How deep of a competitive advantage is that for Google vis-a-vis some of the other platforms that are out there?
Yeah, I think like machine learning and deep learning, as it's known these days, is one of the big strengths of Android. If you look at how Google Photos works, like for me, it automatically can detect my 1-year-old's face, and like if I scroll back in history, it goes back to the very first photo that was taken like literally 3 seconds after she was born. It's just amazing how this technology works. You know, Google's very much a cloud-based company, so when we say we're integrating software and hardware, we're actually really integrating hardware, software on the phone, and the cloud, and we want it all to be very seamless. And when you start thinking about computing, really, you know, where's it going next? You know, we think about contextual computing and about sort of, you know, technology getting smarter and getting out of the way. So, for example, this morning when I parked my car, and I got out of the car, I have a little card on my phone telling me where I parked my car. And that worked because the Android sensor hub, it's running in the background, it's low power. Yeah, it's running in low power in the background. It knew the activity, it knew I was in a car. Then it knew I was walking. It's like, oh, hey, you did a phase change there. So then it records the current location. And that's just an example of like technology in the background gets out of the way, but it's very helpful for you. You know, Google now has lots of other features, like it will tell me when my Amazon parcel arrives in my house, for example. It will tell me when a bill is up and due. It will tell me my flight information and if it's late. And so when you start integrating all of this technology, particularly when you're connected to the cloud, because the cloud, you know, you've got these massive data centers. If you think about it, your phone's basically a supercomputer node, right? When you pull all that together, we think that you can get much more advanced sort of contextual use cases. And we think that's sort of the future where this is going, getting smarter, getting out of the way.
You talked today a bit about Google Play Music and introduced a family subscription, $15, right, for up to 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to the Apple Music user whose trial subscription is expiring,
yes.
What's the pitch for Google Music?
So I don't work on Google Music directly, but I'm definitely a user of it. The idea with the family plan is you can have up to 6 members of your family using this. We've made Google Play Music run everywhere, right? So it runs on your phone, it runs on your tablets, it runs on your desktop browser, cross-platform, runs on Android TV, it runs on Chromecast. You can even control it from your watch, so it just works everywhere. And then it's got an enormous music catalog. You've got like, you know, specific songs and albums you can get and listen to in the subscription, or you can. It has a concierge service, so it will actually, you know, if you feel like I'm in the mood for jazz music or mellow indie, you just choose that and we'll select and curate music for you. It's a really nice experience.
So I have to ask you, Google, as it has been for the past few years, has been under tremendous scrutiny from regulators in Europe, in the US, around its administration of Android. How much does that constrain the innovation on Android and how you guys think about tying apps into the platform, pushing them out to users, what customers can do with apps to uninstall if they want?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we think about Android, first and foremost, it's an open source platform. So we create the code, and then we make it available, and anyone can take it. And then from there, there's a set of Google applications. One of the things that we've done on the new Nexus devices, this is something we've been working on for quite a while, is a new service that basically means that when you're setting up the phone, we've tried to move as many of the non-essential applications to get installed post-setup. The result is you can then uninstall those applications just like any other app. And that's sort of the approach that we've been taking. And you know, from there, you know, people ship Android devices with, and they bundle whatever services they want on top of that. It's an open market, and they can add what they need.
Great. Well, why don't you conclude by telling us when and where we can buy these new Nexus devices?
Right. So we are making these available on the new online Google Store. You can pre-order them today, either the 6P or the 5X. I love my children equally, and you will start shipping them out later in October. And these are amazing devices. We think people are going to love them.
Dave Burke, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.